do you mean you already use AI for my agency? Like, yeah, use AI for my agency. I told them, give away the scripts.
90 to 120 emails every 20 or 30 minutes.
Give away the software.
You guys should easily be able to hit 10K a month with this, no matter what your niche.
Give away the process.
I'm actually going to build it with you so you guys can see the whole process.
To me, this is like the way to send cold emails, and no one is doing it.
This is the cheapest appointments I've ever booked in my life. How to fill your calendar with appointments for less than $5 a pop whilst watching Netflix and eating pizza. And I know that sounds overhyped, but trust me, there's a bit of software cost in this. Not much. You can actually do it for free if you want. But we were able to book in, I think, 42 appointments in 2 weeks, and it cost us like $3.80 per appointment. So it is actually like $3.80. It's very cheap when you do it. So this is relatively new, by the way. No one in the age, actually, no one I've ever talked to, and I talked to a lot of people about prospecting, use this system. I actually haven't shown this to anyone. So you guys are getting like the first look at this. So after this call, build it out, launch it tonight. If you do that, I can guarantee you guys are going to get appointments. So this is truly a blue ocean prospecting strategy. No matter which audience you pick, they are being hit up by cold email. That is just an iron rule every company uses for an outbound strategy. But with this, no one will be able to replicate your volume or your delivery. And trust me, one thing I've learned about prospecting is volume is king. If you do 10 prospecting activities a day against 1,000 prospecting activities a day, you're going to see a massive difference. There's actually a book that a lot of people should read, which is Fanatical Prospecting. And it's like, he gives the secrets to prospecting, but the one message throughout the whole book is just volume. So I'm going to make sure you guys hit the inbox with this strategy and that you guys can do about 2,000 cold emails a day as well. Perfect. So why is this one of the best ways to get appointments? If you haven't tested an offer, this is what we mainly use to test a bunch of our offers, like, because it's literally cheap as chips. So if you guys are looking to create an offer, because I saw some of you guys added 3, so you don't have clients yet. This is one of the best ways to test it. This is also one of the best ways just to get market research. I'm going to give you a market research script as well. I'm going to give you everything we execute on our end. So if we're creating a new offer in a new niche, we do market research. If we got an idea of an offer, then we actually go through and just write through the offer. And it's one of the best ways to test your offer. There's no creative, no sales page. All it is the copywriting of the offer, and you can gauge it off your KPIs that I'm going to give you as well. So if you're looking to design an offer for market research, this is one of the best ways to do it. So running this yourself, you can get appointments as little as $5 a pop. And when I mean running it by yourself, you're not going to be sitting down all day just kind of going email, email, email. What we have done now, and I'll give you guys a SOP for, is actually to get one of your VAs to run it. And that's because if they're doing ops staff reports, whatever else, they can run this on the side easily. Doesn't take anything from you as well. So however, there is one key component. You need to do this right. And this was an issue we learned a lot when building this out. If you have the wrong placements at the wrong, which will make sense in a minute, but if you have the wrong placements at the wrong spot, it will just crumble everything. You're going to waste a lot of money. You're going to waste a lot of runtime, and it's just not going to work effectively. So you need the right data, the right list, the right message, and the right audience. And I'm going to show you how to get all of that, even one of the prospecting tools or scraping tools that we use that no one else really uses. All right, perfect. So this is actually called Let's Extract Email Studio. The reason we use this for all of our email tools and like verifying our emails and everything, it worked really, really well for us. It's cheap as well. I think it's $47 for a one-time fee for a license. Highly recommend buying the license. There's a lot of things this tool can do. I'm not going to run through all of it, but what we mainly do is extract emails from Google Maps. So for this, I'm going to do realtors in Brisbane. You can do the top 1,000 US cities. You can do as many locations as you want. I'm actually going to share a
Does it have to be on a non-Apple?
Yeah, it can be anywhere.
You could use
like
it for
it
Apple?
can be, yeah, Mac, PC. I'm pretty sure anyway.
If not, you can buy a really cheap PC.
Yeah, actually, you could also do an emulator, but that's not what this
that's
is about.
That's a whole.
That's a different thing. All right, so I also added into chat a Google Sheets where if you guys are in the US, this is the top 1,000 cities in the US. So just add that into locations, one per line, and you'll be able to scrape most of the US for what you're doing. All right, so going over these modes, there's little support on this software. But essentially, you want to make sure it's fast mode. And then if you want to get like every email of every website, you can do deep mode, but it takes days to scrape through it. So essentially, pretty easy. Just do Realtors Brisbane, whatever your niche is, plus the location, and then they'll scrape your data for you. And while that's scraping, you can see in here, it can queue through and it's scraping all the websites as well. So while that's scraping, I'm actually going to show you guys the scripts that we use and the different reasons, because I think it'll be more sensible if I show the scripts than everything else. So to go over the sales process for us, I know a lot of DMs that people use conversational starters, everything like that. We've tried that, but with the operational drag time to get the conversation to the booked call, especially over email, because It's not like DMs where they respond instantly. It's usually like a day or 2-day delay. So what we found best is just direct offer, then send a booking link, and then do an intro and demo. We tried one call closes on it. Because they aren't warmed up by much of a sales page or testimonials or anything like that, I definitely recommend doing an intro. Go watch Joe's intro masterclass. We actually changed a lot of our intro based on his recommendations and killed it. So for market research, if you're starting a new offer, I would highly recommend running something like this. Don't just copy these scripts as well, but essentially just go, we're building a new service to help realtors like yourself. I was wondering if we could borrow 2 minutes of your time on a call to help you solve whatever their big pain problem is. No matter what niche you're in, you should have that pain point. I know, for example, realtors right now are sellers. They can't get many sellers, especially in the Australian market. And then just to clarify what the point of the call is, just say we don't want to sell anything. We just want to build your dream service and deliver it. This is kind of a secret strategy because when we actually did this ourselves, so to show you we actually do this ourselves, we actually got all the information. As you can see, these are 2 SDRs that we put on, but we got all the information, asked them a bunch of questions about what they want in their offer and what they want in the service too.
And is that market research from intro calls?
This is market research calls. So our whole point is to go ahead, ask these questions, and then we call back everyone who's like 7 or higher. All these questions are in that 8-figure manifesto as well. But your whole point is to identify patterns, and then you build your offer of what your market is telling you. The best way to make money is sell what people are asking to be sold. So if you go to realtors and they say, hey, I'm really looking for seller leads, but I don't want it on Facebook, I want it on TikTok, then you know, okay, that's probably an opportunity I should chase. After that, you just recall these leads and say, hey, you remember how you told me you really want this thing? I've built this thing. Let's go ahead. For offer scripts, we just do a direct offer. No bullshit. If they respond, they're interested, or they just say, stop, take us off your list. Either one of those 2 things, and then you just book them in for an intro. So offer script is, we always say we've opened a new service. This is something we split tested a lot, whereas we have a service that we've been doing, or we have a new service. And I think this relates to the new opportunity. If you always position something as a new opportunity, it's instantly going to make it more interesting. So we always open a new service. Got a lot more responses that way. So for example, if we were going to go to dentists or chiros, we have open new service that gets you new patients in the door consistently and predictably. And the best part is you don't pay a cent until you get your first appointment. Is that something you'd be interested in? That's all you want. You don't want to add links, anything else. You just want to be like, hey, we have this offer. It's basically a headline. Is this something you're interested in? If they say yes, book them in. When they respond, and I'll show you guys one of our accounts that we run all this through so you can see how we respond and everything. And then when they respond, just say, thank you for getting back to me. I'd love to have a chat with you. Any chance you could book a call on my calendar? Pretty simple. And then I'll give you guys a pro tip that we did. So this is an account we ran last year for a couple of weeks. So we ran it for 2 weeks. We got 65 responses when I was testing the bot this morning. And you can see we have some that are starred. These are all people that start booking calls. What we found is I'll also show you how to set up a forwarding email as well. If we set up our emails,
are these positive replies or just replies?
Some are negative, some are replies. Yeah. So this is a response script. This is
what was the original
for mortgage brokers. Yeah. So it was coming from Eddie Oscar. I'll show you what we do with the Gmails as well.
Good afternoon. We are offering a new service where we guarantee you 5 close home loans in the next 2 months, so we can double your money back and we'll get you started with no money down. Is that something you'd be interested in? Nice.
And then we always add a scarcity or urgency into it. Sometimes we don't, but it just helps out. And then we always say send from iPhone.
But then you say, hey, Matthew, thank you for getting back to my colleague.
Yeah, because it's from Eddie. So he responds, hey, Eddie.
We actually shut down our offer once we hit our capacity. We have an offer that could be similar to what you described. Is that do you do that on purpose to make it seem like, oh, fuck? We
actually did shut down that offer once we hit 5 clients. So that was true. But when we got on the intro call, we did have a few people going okay, so do you have many spaces yet left? I'm like, you're the last one.
Okay. Yeah, but that's still genius. I don't know if you do that on purpose or not.
No, not for this offer. But yeah, I try and make urgency and scarcity pretty legit. One thing we did do as well, after we increased our capacity to take on more clients, we did a reactivation campaign, and it was we had a client waiting list. We didn't need to prospect again. That's why this campaign was 2 weeks long. But a pro tip, when you have a forwarding email, and I'll show you how to deal with that, is every day just go into your sent, star the ones who booked in a call, and then just keep following up the ones who didn't. As you can tell, we got pretty slack with this towards the end, but you can see we start following up a lot at the start. So that's a pro tip. That'll make you get 30-40% more appointments just instantly. Because a lot of people just do one response and leave it. Make sure you do the follow-up, and you can segment it because Google doesn't actually have folders, they have labels, but it's only tagged on individual emails. So we just star it. So I'll go through and how to set up your Gmail accounts. You can do this one of two ways. The way I prefer is by Gmail accounts. You will get some people that will respond like, you don't have a domain, anything like that. However, this guarantees we hit the inbox for at least 3 account users. So what we do is we actually buy off these guys. I'll add that into the chat. These guys have been really good for us. A lot of like aged account buyers or sellers make you go through crypto. You guys can charge a card here. You just got to chat to them. What we do is typically 1-year-old and 100 accounts. But whatever your budget is, just do whatever your budget is. Just try and make sure it's 1-year-old. So when you get that, you'll get a massive CSV of all these different emails, which is essentially going to be all the emails you're going to use to reload. Then you want to set up every single one of those emails to forward to, let me get this back up. Because I closed it. So when you get a email account, you want to set up another one. Like we had Scale Source Prospecting. Just do whatever your brand is, prospecting at Gmail or whatever. Then you want to set up a forwarding domain. So you just go, cool. Whenever you relog into a new email, you just want to set up a forwarding. So in Gmail, we use Gmail, by the way, for everything because it's just the best that we've found. Just add a forwarding address, make sure it's that address, and then just go there. And that will forward every email response to there. That's how you have all the conversations in one place. So you buy the hundreds, don't do the BCC method, Abdul. It doesn't really work. You don't need it with this either. This isn't even the juicy part. I just want to make sure you guys have on record all the stuff you need to do it.
We scraped we scraped the leads. We bought the aged Gmail accounts. We wrote our script. We set up the forwarding. It's just the same as BCC, but this is actually going to work to get into the inbox.
Yeah, so
it won't get you blocked. So this is essentially like the old Joel Kaplan cold email strategy, but 2023 with AI.
Yeah, we've tried all the other ones, like running it through personal domain, stuff like that. Tends to have a lot of issues in terms of delivery. We just go for delivery. This will guarantee you at least 3 runs on each email will hit the inbox. And I'll show you how to avoid hitting like spam and stuff. So yeah, Pete, we manually forward for each Gmail account. It takes 1 minute to set up. So does anyone have any questions on that before I move on?
How long does the setup process take? Because this is before the AI.
Yeah, this is before the AI. You should be able to sit down, set it all up within an hour. Like it's not long.
All right, so let's say a day for lazy people.
Yeah. For me, it'd be an hour, maybe like 2 hours if you're learning it.
Cool. So
does anyone have any questions?
The point is it's pretty simple. Yeah.
Perfect. No, we don't set up DKIM or anything like that. You do that if you have, like if you buy a sending domain, which some people do, but we don't. All right, perfect. So I'll go into the fun stuff, which is the actual bot. This is going to be like, if you guys have questions, ask it because this can take a bit of time to wrap your head around. So what we use is a bot called Axiom. And this is where you're really going to save a lot of time. Essentially what it is it's just browser automation. So this can do a lot of things. We were able to create one and actually talk to their team to create one for sending Gmails out. So they actually have, when you create an account, everything like that, they actually have, I just sent the link in chat as well. They actually have one, but it's pretty broken. So I've already created a bot. I'm going to share it with you guys so you don't use that ones. Yeah, perfect. So all you need to do, go here, install Chrome extension, and then it will tell you to log in. So you'll just get a window like this. You'll get a window like this, and it'll tell you to log in, and you'll see your bots in here. I will share this one, which is the one I set up yesterday for you guys. It's the simplest one. So just use our bot. It'll be called Axiom Masterclass Example. If you go through and use other bots, it's just going to be a nightmare, because you have to reset it up and it's a nightmare to do that. So to run it through, we just create a sheet like this, right? So you just want to create a Google Sheet. We do scripting and stuff, but that's going to be coming at a later date if you guys actually use this and find this valuable. We also have a way to do this to automate DMs where we do 300 or 500 DMs as well.
Which we're going to do that masterclass too.
Yeah. So what we do is set up a basic Google Sheet. I will actually attach a sheet and another video that goes a bit more in depth on what to do if you want to get a bit more creative with this, but all you need to get started is just this. So all you want to do is create a sheet. Essentially what you want to do is the business name or first name of the contact, if you have that, their email and your personal message to them. So for the offer scripts, we've just add the offer script into here, just to show you where we place it. But for this example, considering I'm getting a list of realtors while we're speaking, I'm going to do a realtor one. So when you enter the bot, you just want to make sure you add your spreadsheet into here. So when you add your Google Sheet in here, you also want to create it under one account. So say, for example,
what's the Google Sheet?
So you guys can just create one like this. Essentially, you just want company name, the email you're sending it to, and just your message in here. Yeah. Then when you add it into here for the first time, what it'll do is like, we need access to this Google Sheet. So you want to run everything through this one Google document, but you'll create multiple sheets. And I'll show you what we do to run 4 or 5 of these at once. So run through, choose your sheet name. For example, there's one sheet on that, Axiom example. I'm going to add a bit more of an in-depth sheet and a video going over how to run that if you guys want to be more creative with it. Like we got to the point where we were able to like time zone the lead and to be like, good morning and like good afternoon. So it looks less like spammy and more like it's less mass mailed. So
how did you do that?
That will be in the new sheet. But this is, I just want to get you guys cold emailing, not going through all the finicky stuff that we've gone through.
Okay.
To be honest, we didn't see much of a result from it. Like it didn't matter, but it's kind of cool to run anyway.
That's cool.
And there is a very easy workaround. So when you go through, when you add your sheet, make sure you have A1 and we have C1 here. But if you want more information, so I've got like so many tabs open. When you have more information, if you want to add multiple messages in, if you want to add anything else, then you just keep going over along here. Like say you have fields up to like D, then you just add D1, E1, F1. You'll have a full list down here, but it'll just cycle through the top row. So as you can see, this is my information here. We've opened a brand new service. You can split the name into columns. We personally don't. We found there was a few issues with that. So that is in there for when you want to get more creative, which is in the new sheets, but I'll show you guys later. Then we have another automation which says, okay, go to Gmail and compose an email. So what that will do is just compose an email right there. So essentially it's just a link going to Gmail and opens an email for you. Then you go enter email. I won't get you guys too much to mess around with like select text field because these are already set up. However, if you guys have a signature, you guys need to change the message body one. So I might actually run you through that one. So when it goes into
Dylan, real quick. So this is essentially the BCC method. You get all the benefits of sending from a personal Gmail account as opposed to a G Suite account to land into the inbox. And you get all the benefits of being able to scale this to thousands a day, just like the BCC method, without having to go through the headache of manually sending out 500 and without the headache of getting your account shut down left and right, and without the headache of getting blocked all the time.
Yeah, it's a way to like avoid all the biggest issues you encounter when you run something like this. And so even if you do have a Gmail that gets closed down, just buy another one. So just to answer Amia, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So your main Gmail account won't get blocked. All your sending ones will get blocked. Well, not all of them. Depends on your message and what you do. For example, I'll show you some of the accounts we ran with.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dylan.
You're fine.
I wanted to, because a lot of people were asking about that.
Yeah, I assume I'm going to have to do a few more videos to explain some things. So this is what we do. Oh, you guys just saw that login, but it doesn't matter. We're showing down that account anyway. So this is all the Gmail accounts we buy. This was run a long time ago. So you can't actually log into these ones anymore. So we just do this and we just set up forwards. We used to add Western names and compliance signatures. However, there's 2 issues I'll go over later when you do that. But essentially you just go into like, if you're entering into this email, then that email will get blocked, not your main sending one, if that makes sense. Perfect. To continue with this, essentially what you want to do here is this is already preset for you. So don't enter select text field or else it'll just go weird. But you want to go insert data, and then you want to go Google Sheet data, looping through this data. And then considering this is where they enter the email, as you can see, we just say enter email. Subjects, I'm going to keep it as get motivated sellers because I'll actually do a real sort of campaign. If you want to create a unique subject for every single person, it's quite easy. All you got to do is add another field in here. So if you want to create like split test a bunch of subjects, you can either create another bot or you can just create another field in here that has a subject line. We typically run 3 bots at a time with our own subject lines. And then what we do for the best delivery for this message is we'll change a few words in this as well. So like brand new program to a new service. And then essentially what happens here, if you do that, say if 1,000 Gmails get sent and like 10 get reported and it's the exact same message, all the other emails will get reported as well, or like auto flagged. If you add some variation into each one of your messages, it will allow you to get to the inbox as well. So I'm clicking through so many tabs to get this done. Perfect. So you just enter the subject you want in the subject field, enter the message body. So I'll actually rewrite this for you guys here. So you just go, hey, good morning, good afternoon, whatever you want to add, their first name or their business name. This is where you start to get the personalization. So it's, hey, Dylan Knight, and then just click here and do like one arrow over, or else you can't actually click here for a comma. It makes it look better. And then you want to go looping through your data again, column C for your message. And then you just want to go, thanks, example. And then what we did is send from my phone because people just tend to respond better. Doesn't really matter. If you do create a new signature and you have a signature actually in your account, then you're going to have to remap this select text field. So I'll do that in a support video, which I'll create in the drive for everyone. I'll go through and show you guys how to map these. It's a bit difficult and it's probably worth having a video where you can like pause and flick back on than me just going through it now. So I'll send that to the agency lab team after this as well. And then this is just a send, click the element send. And then we actually added a wait of 1,000 milliseconds because what we found by the time they send the email and the bot skips back over, there's just a little bit of a delay. So make sure you don't change this. If you do, the bot will stop running. It will come up with errors, everything else. And then how we make sure we don't hit other people in this list is we actually go to that same sheet that we have up here. We go to this sheet and say, all right, see this row? We've already emailed Dylan. Let's delete that and we'll email the second person, the third person, the fourth person. So it will go through, just keep deleting that row. And then it'll jump back up to step one after that. So depending how many emails you want to send per account, I always just do 30 just to make sure we get some longevity out of accounts. But you can add this up to like 150 if you want. And that's just how many emails it will send off that one account. Essentially, all you're doing is you're taking the information in this sheet. And all you have to do is just go through and map that one cell to that one spot you want it. So for example, this is the email cell. I want to add that email. This is a subject. I just write it into here. If we want the message, we just add the personal name at the top saying, hey, this is who we are. And then column C is the message. And then we just write the finishing in here as well. Yeah, essentially it's just mapping the fields. You're pulling
the different fields. I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
Let me get this back up for you. So I'll show you the power of this system as well. All right, so perfect. Now we've got this list, which we just scraped, which is realtors in Brisbane. So what I always do with the list is clean it, which is just mainly remove duplicates. Cool, no duplicates found. What we can see here is we have so much information on these guys. So this list was actually a deep scrape, but you'll see we have all these emails, all these business names, and all this information here. But we only care about the emails. So you'll see that. And we only care about their business names. So you'll see that. So then when you go into here, you'll have all these emails, all these cool business names, and then you want to just scrape down your message. There you go. Your message is populated on all these fields. So when you want to start sending out the email, say, yeah, this is a good message. If you want to split test the message, you can. It's up to you. And when the bot's set up, all you do is press this magic button and it will start sending it out straight away. I'm actually sending the first one to my personal so you can actually see it. So this is when you're running one instance. You can upgrade your account to have up to 4 instances. Actually, sorry, this is the wrong email I'm in. I need to run it through here. So this is why we use different Chrome profiles. So each Chrome profile, when you run it through Gmail, will log into that Chrome profiles Gmail as well. And I think it's still running. Yeah, perfect. There you go. So you'll watch it. So you can have 3 of these running all at one time for you as well. It is a little bit glitchy watching it.
I like it. You got to be nice to the AI, by the way, Dylan.
I didn't actually change the subject name. That's kind of sucks. Da-da-da.
You guys got to be kind to your AIs, okay? Or else it's going to start cold emailing you every day.
And it will just not look good when the road.
It's not going to stop until you buy. It's not going to stop until you buy.
You can see there, I just got the email sent through as well. That was to my personal email. I'm pretty black this one. But you'll see it's just going to go through that whole list and you can run it through the background. And it's still got the same subject, but honestly, I don't really care. So it'll just send that message, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. And then when you upgrade your account, you can actually run 3 of these all in different Chrome profiles. So when we got this fully built out, it was able to send about 90 to 120 emails every 15 minutes, which if you guys don't send that, your KPIs, you should book an appointment. But so every like 20-ish, 25 minutes, you guys should be able to book an appointment if you have a killer offer for every 150 to 200 cold emails sent this way.
Okay. So could you repeat that one more time, Dylan?
So
how many?
When we scaled this up, it was about, I got the stats on my other document. So when we built this out, we had KPIs of, these were our KPIs. If we knew we were on a killer offer, if we booked in a call for 100 to 150 cents, knew it was an okay offer if we booked a call 200 to 350 cents. And we knew we need to either restructure the offer or remove risk if it was over that. We've sent thousands and thousands out. This is a bit niche dependent. If you're targeting something like realtors or targeting an industry where they rely on their emails, like realtors, mortgage brokers, contractors, anything like that, absolutely kills it. If you're targeting something like lawyers, it might look a bit inflated. You might have to do like an extra 100 on top of these because they don't really look at our emails. But when we had it fully fleshed out, we were doing about 90 to 120 emails every 20 or 30 minutes. When we had it fully refined, it was, doing really well.
It's personalizing the name.
Yeah, it's personalizing everything. So,
wow, that's insane.
The cleaner you have your data, the cleaner it's going to look as well.
Guys. So this is literally, and I'm going to explain. I think what a lot of people are like, why not use Instantly? The problem with Instantly, for example, is that you're relying on G Suite, and it's hard to land into the inbox. Whereas when you use a personalized, aged email account, the chances of you landing in inbox is really, really high. The problem is that it's hard to automate. It's hard to send hundreds. And the strategies of doing the BCC method gets you blocked. So this is with Axiom, now you're leveraging AI to send out emails from personal email accounts that you can personalize, which, by the way, the hard part with doing it through traditional Gmail accounts is that it didn't link up with softwares like Lemlist. It didn't link up with softwares like Instantly. So you couldn't personalize it. Now with a personalized, with a personal email accounts as opposed to a business email account. So for example, joelkaplan@gmail.com versus joel@joelkaplan.com. With a personal email account, it was really hard to scale without getting blocked. And it was really hard to personalize it. Now you get all the benefits of a software like Lemlist or Instantly where you can personalize it without getting sent to spam. So now you're going to the inbox and you can scale it up. To me, this is like the way to send cold emails in 2023, and no one is doing it. You guys are first in line, and it's leveraging a fucking bot, which is dope.
So realistically, all you guys need to scale this up is you just follow that same system, but all you do is when you're creating a new bot, or if you're upgrading your account, which I think is like, I might be butchering the pricing here. I'll try and get it up on my other screen, but I'm pretty sure it's about 250 for 3 cloud bots and 1 desktop bot. So you can run 4 of these at once. We never ran the desktop bot. There was too many issues and it'll like overheat your computer really fast if you're on a laptop, which is actually half the reason I bought this rig to try and test it, but it still had issues. So when you run more of these, all you got to do is take what I've already shown you and go, okay, cool. This is, where did that data sheet just go? Okay, guys, I've got to filter through so many tabs to get this going. I am not sure where I actually put that email. It's in this account. But all you have to do is go into your account, whatever it is, and just create a brand new sheet, which I'll show you right now. So as you can see, that bot ran through this sheet here. So it's still the same Google Sheet, but it ran through this sheet name. So all you want to do is go into here and go sheet 2 and then sheet 3, and you just follow the exact same framework. Then you can have 3 bots running and it just kills it. So with this method, you're literally guaranteed to hit the inbox because they're HTML accounts. If you use something like Instantly, they usually run through like a SMTP or something, or they flag business accounts really fast. Does that make sense, guys? It's kind of what I explained earlier. So like back in like 2 or 3 years ago, I taught you guys how to use this method of the personal email accounts with BCC, and we could scale it.
The problem was that now you get blocked really easily. And it's, you can't really personalize it. Then we taught you guys instantly, but the downside of instantly is that it's hard to scale past like 300 a day, and it's hard to get into the inbox. So now it's like you get the best of both worlds. You can get into the inbox, you can scale it, and you can personalize it.
You can set this up in, we'll say 3 hours, set all the bots up. You can have 3 bots running at a time, and you can even get a VA to do it. It's no operational drag to you. It costs the cost of the software, cost of your scraping tool. You don't have to pay anything else. And the cost of the aged accounts.
To me, yeah. So it's essentially manually doing the task of sending one by one, and it just logs in, sends, logs in, sends. So it's almost like you're using a software like Instantly, but you're using it with personal Gmail accounts versus a business account. So then the deliverability is way higher. But now, because you're also using a bot, you can personalize it, which is really nice. And you can scale it because it's the personal Gmail accounts versus a business account, which is hard to scale.
Yeah, essentially the personalization
this is like the best of the best of the best
as well. Yeah. This took me ages to figure out and rebuild. They're still updating their software, so there will probably be time to rebuild in the future. But I guarantee you guys, if you just buy their premium account, run 3 bots, get your list, get the message right, you guys will book in 5 to 10 appointments a day. Like, we were booking in, at our best day, I think we booked in 12 appointments just off this. But you can see, we just get responses and go through that. And at 30 emails per account, that just gives us longevity on each account. We did go up to 60 at one point, but we've realized they were getting flagged pretty fast. Because if one person comes in and sends an email every like 20 seconds for 60 emails, and it's all the same message except for the personalization, Gmail looks at that pretty sussly.
Why not Instantly? Again, with Instantly, you're using business accounts, which means that it's hard to get into the inbox. So we solve that problem. Why aged accounts? With aged accounts, you don't have to warm them up. They're already aged. So it's way more likely to get into the inbox. Why not G Suite? Same reason as to why not Instantly. With G Suite or with business accounts, the problem with that is that you're now battling the fact that they have to be really warmed up, and you're probably going to be marked as spam. Whereas with personal Gmail accounts, like if you go on Gmail and you sign up for joel@gmail.com, way more likely to just get into the inbox right away. Do you have to set up any DKIM, SPF, DMARC? Nope. For the script, you need some super good offer for this. At the end of the day, guys, a new offer is better than a better offer. So like if you say YouTube ads for realtors that no one is doing to get seller appointments, that's better than 20 seller appointments guaranteed, or you don't pay. But regardless, you do still need a good offer for sure. There's plenty of offers that we've shown you guys that work that you guys can take. It's really important, guys. Like, they're not going to just book in. You got to call the leads. I'm going to say this like 5 times. You got to call the leads. 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 They're not going to book themselves. If someone says yes, they're interested, you got to pick up the phone and dial. Someone says yes, pick up the phone, get out of the call, get out of the email, get on the phone, get out of the email, get on the phone.
Yeah, if you want to supercharge, just pick up the phone and dial them as well. Even if they respond and you don't respond back, just be like, hey, I got your response, sent it from a colleague. That's what we did, and it killed it. The phone is the closest way to get to the money, not an email.
Yep. How do you get the subject line in? Or actually, no, wait, I missed this. Does this detect fake email and stop sending to them?
So if you run different messages, I'll quickly share my screen. Say these are all the messages you're sending out, right? If you run the same messages, I realized there was actually a spelling error in this. I kind of wrote it together. Say you run this message and then you run 3 different messages. If you run, we have a new service, it does. And then this one is, we run ads on your behalf. Whatever it is, if you add like slight variations in this message, then it won't get blocked. If you run slight variations in the subject, it won't get blocked. So another thing you can do, which I'll go over later, is just add the subject line into here and then just go seller leads, 5 seller leads for you, whatever it is, and you won't get blocked. You just got to add some variation. Your accounts might get blocked after like 3 to 4 run-throughs of that same account, but you'll have 100 Gmails. So you can send out a shit ton of emails by the time you get blocked. It's not a really concern you should have.
You don't have to warm them up?
No. If they're aged, typically what I've seen from that service provider, if they're aged, they're signed up to like Google News or some other crap, and then that will warm them up. But they're already aged 1 year, and some of them even have like backup recovery emails and phone verification. So no, you don't.
How do you get the subject line in?
So you can run this in the bot, or you can run this in the sheets. Quite simple. In the bot, there's a spot called enter text subjects. Just put your subject line in there.
Should I make an Axiom account under my business name? I would say yes.
Yeah. So they will never be able to tell you actually run an Axiom to run this. So this is an interesting way to get around a lot of the legislation, especially in cold SMS, of automating cold SMS. Because you can do it manually, but you can automate the manual task. And it's a bit of a gray area, but it doesn't matter if it's...
This works for text too?
Yeah, it's something we're building now. Because you can go something like, you can essentially zap together like a launch control if you do it right.
Launch control, yeah.
But that's like something we're building, and that's very complex. And you got to make sure it's like compliant with legislation as well, which is a gray area to say the best.
Let's see, what's the difference between this versus just sending something like Lemlist? I kind of explained that. Yes, it's because you're using personal accounts, which means that way more likely to land in inbox and easier to scale. Lemlist is hard to scale. Why don't you add an opt-out and an address at the bottom? You technically should.
For Australia, you just need your company name. So that's what we run with. You don't actually need an opt-out. Yeah, I'm not sure in legislation in US.
I'm pretty sure you need to just put your business address and just say reply no if you're not interested or something. Just a way for them to be removed from the list.
Yeah, this next part isn't legal advice, but I've never seen anyone get in trouble for it.
All right, we'll keep going. No comment on that. So should I make an account under my email or just buy the Gmail accounts, then make it under those? You should make an account with Axiom under your email.
Yeah. So set up a forwarding account under your own email, and then just forward all the emails to like some kind of like whatever your business name is. We just use business name prospecting at Gmail, and then forward everything to there, and then we respond through there as well. And no one really sees the difference because you say, hey, my colleague forwarded this email. So create one Gmail, run it under that.
So the main benefit of this is the increased volume per day at a significant cost savings. Yes, but also the fact that you could personalize it and land in the inbox, which is like a huge thing. Do you really need different bots for different email variants? Can't you just randomize the column up front in Google Sheet with 2 to 5 messages?
Yeah, that's what I ran through. You can definitely go through there, and that's what we typically do. So we run 3 bots side by side. Each list has about 1,000 emails in it, and then we do 30 at a time. Each 30 emails has 30 messages has 2 variants of the same message. So whether it's like new program, new service, whatever. And then each bot has a different subject line as well.
What is the purpose of the age emails and no warming up required? We already covered those. What are the limits per account? Per email?
This is, kind of like up to Google. We get 3 to 4 consistent runs before there's any issue. Just depends on which message you're sending out. There's a few ways to avoid it, like don't mention free. If you're trying to use free, just say absolutely no cost, because Gmail picks up free as like a massive spam warning. There's a lot of ways you can get around increasing the longevity of your account. But the key parts to note is you'll get like 4 or 5 runs. And as long as you run a pretty clean list and a personalized list, you're fine.
Did you go over cleaning the lists or no?
I didn't, but if people are using different software, I use the same tool. So let's go. I'll share my screen again. So it's just about to grab something. So if you go into this tool, you start email verifier. You can set this up to go through different verifiers, but then it'll just go through verify the emails and get rid of like junk emails, like PM2 or wherever.
Oh, so lead extract, same software.
Yeah, and then just email verify. That will get rid of most of it. Then there is some where it's like these emails aren't legit, so you can run it through a different software. But honestly, we just do this. We found that the bounce rate was insignificant when you factor in the cost of going through like a clean my list or anything like that.
Okay, dope. Last question. Is there a way to add spin tags to it so that Google doesn't pick it up that we're sending the same message over and over?
Yeah, so you just run that through your different sheets. So I will show you actually one of the accounts we were running. and how we did it. So this is the same account we were running ages ago. So this don't want the fish last. We were testing something and it didn't really work. But all these are slightly different messages. So the bot will actually go through, take this message, send it to Scott, and then it'll delete that one. And then it'll go this message to Ben. So you just change this message up and you can change your subject line. If you want to add in a subject line, just add in another column and just map it. I'll add that into the videos I'll create for you guys. Yeah.
Love it.
So I was going to say, this is the cheapest appointments I've ever booked in my life. And I've done a lot of ways to get in very cheap appointments. Like if you guys don't get clients using this strategy, then something's wrong with the app, because you guys will definitely book appointments with this.
Like guys,
you guys are welcome.
This is the way to send cold emails in 2023. You get all the benefits: personalization, scale, automation. You don't have to, like, you don't even need a VA to literally sit and click one by one the way we used to do it. And you land in the inbox. So, and the best part is you use AI. So with that in mind, guys, really, really excited.